YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back. In this video, we're going over my guys of the 2022 NFL Draft. My favorite prospects, players that I'm higher on than most. Do this every single year. Been doing it for a long time. I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited to see where these players land in the draft and how they play this upcoming year in their careers. So very excited here. We got a bunch of content already on the channel. We got more to come. We're going to get a final mock draft done. We got a lot of content on Twitter. Anything that I can't get to here will be on Twitter. Always talking with you guys. Join us live right here on YouTube for day 1 of the NFL draft, on Twitter for day 2 and 3. Link down below for that Twitter, anything else that you're looking for here. And again, here's our Twitter. Melvin Gordon signed with the re-signed with the Broncos just a little bit before recording this. So we got you covered on Twitter here. Check it out. Why not start with my number 1 player in the draft, KAYVON THIBODEAUX? A lot of times my number 1 player in the draft, it's not really a my guy because he's usually most people's number 1 or number 2 or number 3. But people are sleeping on KAYVON THIBODEAUX for being a top tier. I think the fans, us fans, from what I've gathered, we really like KAYVON THIBODEAUX. So I think if you average ranked, I guess the fans that we interact with and everything, they like THIBODEAUX as well. For average rank, just like last year, I decided to average out between Pro Football Focus, Lance Zierlein, and Brugler, all their rankings for all these guys. I combined them, averaged them out. So that's where I came up with that. I thought that was the best way to do it like last year. So I got KAYVON THIBODEAUX first overall. I think he's the best player in the draft. A lot of upside. Love the athleticism, the get off, the power, the ability to fit either scheme, ability to drop in coverage. Can play inside too if you want him to here and there. You know, maybe doesn't look like he has the body for it, but did here and there for Oregon. And just the get off gets me, and you know, the showing up in impact moments. That's kind of what gets me here. So he's my top player in the draft. Average rank end up being 7th, so it just seems like he keeps dropping on everyone's board. And we heard yesterday that he actually could slip a little bit when it comes to the actual draft. So what lucky team's going to get KAYVON THIBODEAUX? I mean, we can see him going 2nd. Not that it's my prediction. I love the fit with the Jets, but it sounds like they may like other fits or an offensive lineman or a corner. So could he start to slide? Does somebody trade up ahead of somebody? I'm curious. I'm definitely curious. Another one we got to go with, my number 2 player, Travon Walker. And everyone's starting to jump on the Travon Walker hype. Now most people are kind of bumping him up. You see the average rank ends up being 10th overall. I am 2nd. Main reason I did it, I watched the tape on Travon Walker, and here's the tweet. I tweeted this on February 18th. You see at the bottom. This was right after I watched Travon Walker, and I was right before I tweeted this, I was mocking him like end of the first round, early 2nd. Any mock that you saw him there. You never saw him anywhere near the top 10 at this point. And I broke this down and I said I believe he's a top 10 pick. And then not too long after that, the combine rolls around, and I think everyone was jumping on that hype train there. So I'm going to take a little bit of credit for Travon Walker here. It's just the upside guy, trying to watch the tape and find those ultimate upside players, and I saw that with Walker. But I think the mistake people make is they kind of look at his stats. Well, that's one mistake. But they look at his stats, mainly because he's known as an edge guy, even though he's a lot more than that. How many sacks did he have? And I think that's a mistake. He didn't have as many pass rush snaps off the edge he didn't have nearly as much as the other top guys. Again, off the edge, he's played inside. He's dropped back in coverage a lot, so he does all that. But he didn't really have the production impact, but he had a major, major impact if you watched him, further than the production is. And I think he's a day 1 impact, mainly inside, but he can be a day 1 impact off the edge as well. But I think right now he's better inside than off the edge, but that's not really a flaw. That's really not a flaw to me. You're going to move him around. You're going to use him everywhere. It could be a pre-snap problem for teams. It can be a problem for guards if he lines up on the inside. So I think it's more about the production there. Yes, he's not going to be, stats-wise, maybe as good as Hutchinson or Thibodeaux right away. But I'm glad that he got some hype then, after we kind of caught on there or jumped on it, early in February there. Another one, got to go Sam Howell. Got to get a quarterback on this list. Something about Sam Howell, you just got to get the. I was surprised the average rank came out to 4 with those 3 rankings I used to average it out, because I do see him at 5 a lot. Really, most people probably have him at 5 right now. But I got him at 2, and he's borderline 1. During most of this process, I had him at 1. I like the upside of Malik Willis still, but Howell, showed some really good flashes in the past. Obviously, took a little bit of a step down this year, but was still very much impressive. Offensive line didn't help him. He lost some, in terms of the college level star players, Javonte Williams, Michael Carter, De'Ami Brown, etc. So I think get him in the right system. Maybe if it learns for a year or so behind a solid offensive line, and let him go to work. He's a tough dude too. He breaks tackles. He can run. So I just kind of has that it factor to me. Just something about him. So I think he could end up being the top quarterback in his class. And it seems like everyone's kind of Pickett, Willis, Corral. Some people hopping on Ritter as well, but not much talk about Sam Howell here. Let's give him some love. And then next up, I got Sky Moore. Yeah, I've been on the Sky Moore train for a bit here. And I know a lot of people have jumped on as well, but even those people didn't really move him up their receiver rankings too much. Went with the overall rank. My overall rank on my big board is 21st. You average it out, he's 44. So he's my receiver 5. It seems like he's most people's receiver 7. So it's not too far off. I do him as a top 5 receiver. I have him as a top 5 receiver. But again, just all around, the release, the footwork, route running ability after the fact, the ability to make plays from pretty much anywhere on the field and after the catch, the great hands, big playability. I feel like he's a safer pick. I feel like he's a pretty damn safe pick here. So, and he has that big playability again, so he can be more than just a safe guy too. So I think he's a plug and play guy. He's gonna help any team. So I'm a big fan of Sky Moore and why he's one of my guys here. Devin Lloyd's going to be next. Yeah, maybe not too far off in terms of the average rank here. I mean, everyone's got him linebacker 1. I did, if you watched my big board and watched the linebacker position ranking video, I have an elite grade on Devin Lloyd. Now that, I don't know if anyone else has a elite grade or many others have elite grade, but I think he's that type of prospect because he's a big-time playmaker, exactly what you look for in a linebacker. He can cover, he has the range, he has athletic ability, and he can rush the quarterback too, whether it's off the edge or blitz. So he's like a Swiss Army knife at the same. Usually the Swiss Army knives can't really play their normal position as a starter that effectively. They're solid, but to me, Devin Lloyd's kind of the total package at the same time of being that Swiss Army knife. I think he's going to be super productive. I really do, if used correctly. So I got him 8th overall with elite grade. Average rank is 17. I think everyone likes Devin Lloyd, obviously. I feel like I'm pretty high on him though, so curious to see where he goes because, the way where the linebacker's gonna go, who does he fit, who wants to use him the right way, it's gonna be interesting. So we will see. Next, gonna go with we're talking about a few running backs. I always got a good amount of running backs in this class. Last year I had Ramondre Stevenson. It felt pretty good about that one. He looked pretty good with the Patriots. Alvin Kamara is one of my bigger running back hits here. Brian Robinson, I have him at running back 4, average rank running back 7, not super far off, but I got him top 5 running back. I recently started to see some more people kind of get, maybe we'll buy into this a little bit very, very recently. So, I'm a huge fan. Physical, tough runner, underrated catching the ball. He can block as well. He just didn't have any, a whole bunch of home run runs, but I don't really need that if you kind of do everything else right. So I think somebody's going to get a very solid back here, and he has the ability to be an every down back. Will he be right away? Maybe not, but he has that ability to be an every down back. He's just super physical. I think my favorite tape out of the whole draft class that I watched was Brian Robinson versus Cincinnati, and that's a playoff game. That's a playoff game. I know it's Cincinnati. I know people, Bama, Cincinnati, but Cincinnati's a really good team. They had a really good defense. Robinson, he dominated them, to say the least there. So definitely my guy here. Another running back, Ty Davis-Price from LSU, a very physical runner, but's got some speed in the open field as well. He's a 4.4 guy, very fun to watch. I think get him in an NFL system, in a better offense there, and he's got a lot of upside. Had some upside catching the ball. Didn't really do much of that, so maybe he slips a little bit. But I got him running back 6. Average rank is running back 12. It's a guy we haven't really, maybe a little bit we're hearing his name recently, but during this whole process, you don't even know he existed almost. Ty Davis-Price, that hasn't been mentioned, but I think he's another guy that can be an every down back and kind of right there with him in the rankings. I'm kind of flipping those guys too, 6, 7. I like Ty Chandler a lot. Watch this tape, and I just see a, explosive, in terms of getting to the hole, explosive, quick, shifty at that next level, and has that home run speed. Is just a big play waiting to happen here. And Ty Chandler, former Tennessee running back that went to North Carolina this past year. Can catch the ball, very, very well as well. Was super productive this year when he got the chance. Very good outside runner. I guess that, he's a little up there in age compared to the other backs. And is he going to be an every down back? Is the team going to start him and give him a bunch of carries inside? Probably not. So I guess that's the risk here with being very high on Ty Chandler. But he's super talented. I love the guys that see the hole, hit the hole super fast, and they have what comes next. And he has that. So I got him running back 7. Average rank ended up being running back 17, a little surprising there. I know there's got to be some people out there that are not too far off where I have him, but average rank ended up being running back 17. Next up, tight end. My tight end 1 in Jelani Woods. I know a lot of people were hyped about Woods. Average rank was tight end 5. I put him 1. You don't really see that much. My thinking was, I talked about this in the tight end rankings video. My thinking was, I'm looking for unique tight ends. I'm looking for, Kyle Pitts last year. That is a very rare, unique tight end. You look at the top of the NFL. Travis Kelce, no one has footwork and is as smart as him and as good after the catch of him. That fast, that big. It's just such a unique player. George Kittle, no one has his physicality, especially after the catch. And you got Mark Andrews, the route running ability downfield, kind of a threat all over the field as a receiver. Like they're all kind of one of a kind, type tight ends. So they're unique in a way. So I'm looking for that unique tight end. This class has got some solid guys. They're going to be solid players. Unique isn't the word to use with these tight ends, except for maybe one of the most unique ones we've seen in a long time in Jelani Woods. Just a big body guy that's getting a lot better. He has the length and the physicality to block. We see him line up outside, in the slot, in line, a tank after the catch. Is super fun to watch. So I'm really hoping a win now team kind of gets a guy like Woods. Maybe a team that's kind of looking for that last piece of the puzzle there, something we don't have that maybe they're saying. I would love to see that. So he's my tight end 1. So put him into my guys category here. Logan Hall is going to be next. I'm a little surprised that I'm higher on him than most people. 30th overall on my board. I do think he's a first-round player. Some people rank him with the defensive lineman. I ranked him with the edge. I think he's got upside there. But, if he goes to a 4-3 team, play defensive end, and, he can slide inside and play 3 technique as well. I don't think he'll be super productive right away, but I think he's going to be much better in the NFL than he was production-wise than in college. So I ranked him 30th overall, really growing on me in this process. 53rd overall in the average rank. Some people rank him, again, D-line, some edge. I don't think either are, wrong. I think we're going to see him do a bit of both. I'm curious to see what team he ends up. I think he ends up being a first-round pick, which is starting to be talked about a little bit more. Just a guy, the upside, I can just see just something about him. I could just see him being a lot better here in the NFL. Cornerback, ALONTAE Taylor. So last year I had Ambry Thomas from Michigan. I hit on that one because he was a starter for the 49ers down the stretch and really got better. Ambry Thomas, people were really low on him. So this is kind of, and I actually like Taylor better than Thomas last year. So this is, this is kind of my Ambry Thomas from last year. So I'm hoping to hit on the cornerback again. But ALONTAE Taylor from Tennessee, very surprised how low people are on him. Some people considering him a safety, I noticed, which I kind of could see that. With his build, his playmaking ability coming up and attacking the ball, I can see him being a safety. But I think he's a very, very good corner, so I'm not going to switch him there. And he has the traits to play corner. So, I like him, and I think he has the ability to play man, has the length and physicality for press. But I really like him in cover 3, maybe cover 2 as well. I think if he can run cover 3, he can run cover 4. So that kind of led me to kind of an all-of-the-above corner here. Freak athlete. Again, he has kind of the traits you look for as well. And he has that playmaking. I think upside as a playmaker. I love the way he attacks the ball, even when it's already caught, when it's on the ground. So he stood out to me. I haven't really heard anything about him during this process. I know there's probably some people that are not too far off than me here, but average rank that I came up with using the way I do it, it was 16 there, so pretty far off there. So, I'd take ALONTAE Taylor in the second round. I think he's the 7th best corner, and the 6th best corners are pretty damn obvious who they are too. So, big Taylor fan. And then maybe the ultimate my guy based on how much different the rankings are. Josh PASCHAL from Kentucky, big fan of him. I have him with the D lineman because most of the snaps came over the tackle, which is usually a 3-4 end. Then it came edge, which is, outside the tackle, which is edge, and then played 3 technique, even played nose. I like him across the board at all of those. But I want a team to move him around a bit. I think he has better pass rushing upside from the inside, but where he makes his money is reading and playing the run. He's just so damn good at it. You see the motor, you see the explosive. He's a very likable kid. Keep hearing about the character. Everyone loves the character. So I got him D-line 3. He's my 37th overall player in the draft. I would, right, if it's the right team, it really needs to be the right team, but I'd take him at the end of the first round if it's the right team. I think the Bengals would be a great team for him. They would move him around a bit, and they're very good with their defensive linemen. But in the average rank, then ends up being 116, and then most people have him ranked edge. I think that's where you kind of go wrong. I'm going to rank this guy edge. I'm going to watch him only on the edge, and then your priority there is looking at the pass rush reps where you could get better. But I think that's the flaw in that. Most of snaps are over the tackle. We see Aaron Donald play over the tackle a bit. We see Aaron Donald play inside, over the guard as well, nose sometimes, but that's PASCHAL does. I think you kind of use him the same way, not that he's going to be Donald, but use him that same way. He's just very fun to watch, just extremely fun to watch. So, there's really no one as high on him as I am here, but he needs the right team and he needs to be used the right way. I hope somebody doesn't just take him and stash him as a depth edge guy. That's what I worry about, because he's probably going to be a depth guy right away, because it sounds like he's going to go third. I think he should go a lot earlier than that, but I just don't want a team all right, we're going to take him as a backup pass rusher, and then so how many snaps a game is he going to get? So how many chances is he going to get? Over the tackle, 3 technique outside the guard, over the guard. How many chances is he going to get? That's what I worry about here, but very explosive player. Really could end up being the steal of this draft. So some other guys I want to talk about, not really guys I'm like way higher on than everyone else, but some of them may be kind of close. I had to put Kyle Hamilton on here. Notre Dame fan, so I'm a big Kyle Hamilton fan. It's really not why Kevin Austin's on here, though. I'm a big fan of Hamilton, Kyron Williams, all these guys here, but Hamilton I got to put up here. I think he has a realistic shot to be a top 3 NFL safety within 3 seasons. So maybe that's a little bold. I think a lot of people are maybe on the same page with me. Maybe they'll go top 5, top 10. Whatever it may be, but the free safety that has the ability to come up in the box slot area on crucial downs when they need him most underneath, kind of a do-it-all guy, just a safety we do not see. John Mechie next. I have him. What do I got him? I got him receiver 9. I think most people got him 11, 12, so not too far off. I have him ahead of a guy like Christian Watson, even though they're 2 totally different type of receivers, but I see upside as a slot receiver for Mechie, even though he played more X, but he played a bit of everything. I like his coverage recognition, route running ability. I think just sometimes these guys in the NFL receivers that are playing in the slot, they didn't really play that much in the slot, college, and just kind of came out of nowhere. I kind of could see that with Mechie, maybe like a Jarvis Landry type player perhaps. So Danny Gray's probably been my biggest riser even since, and I called him a sleeper, I believe, or underrated in my receiver position rankings video, but because I watched a little bit of him going into that, I was still watching film during that process, and it just stood out to me right away, so I called him that, but more I watch him, the more I like him. He's been getting some buzz as well, so I really shot him up my rankings here, which will have my final rankings in the spreadsheet. I'll tweet that out probably tomorrow, which is Wednesday. But I like Danny Gray. I think he's going to end up going in the second round. I think he's going to be a big play threat, especially down the field. So the SMU receiver I like. Kevin Austin Jr. I put on here just because I didn't really like him during the year. I didn't really love him during the year. He made some special plays here and there, big plays, important plays, contested catches, and he was pretty impressive contested catches. But just thinking in terms of an NFL level, I didn't really love him during the year because he wasn't getting a whole lot of separation. And then, the more I'm thinking about it, the combine passes, he has a ridiculous workout. The guy's looking more and more as, in terms of freaky shape, how he looks. And just thinking about it, this guy was a top recruit for Notre Dame. He didn't really get on the field for, whatever. He had suspension at one point that doesn't seem to be a worry. Had an injury, and then finally got on the field. Basically only played 1 year, and he looked pretty damn good, got better throughout the year, and then looked like he actually improved parts of his game, like the traits, at the combine. So I'm sitting here thinking, this guy, are we seeing upside before it's even happening? So I'm thinking this guy has a lot of upside here. I think he'll be more productive in the NFL. I think Keontae Ingram, I tweeted about him a while ago, Kind of remind me like a poor man's Melvin Gordon. Coincidence, Melvin Gordon just signed with the Broncos right before recording this. So I think he's a very sneaky sleeper running back that no one's really talking about here. That somebody, people will probably grade him as a 7th or undrafted. I take him in the 5th. Or the 4th or the 5th, somewhere around that range. So a couple of linebackers. Quay Walker, I have a linebacker too. Most people have a different Georgia linebacker there, or even, I've seen Leo Chenal. I've seen some other guys. So I got him at linebacker too. I'd take him in the 1st round. Damone Clark from LSU was a tough one because he had that spinal situation, herniated disc, or whatever it was, recently after the combine. So he's probably going to miss this year. That's tough. I love the talent. I love the tape. I'd put him at linebacker 4 and consider him at the end of the 1st round if he was healthy. He's not healthy, so probably I wouldn't take him that early. But it's a guy. When your team takes him, know that it's a guy that I really, really like. He has a lot of upside when he gets healthy. Asamoah, linebacker from Oklahoma. I like his game too. It kind of just fits today's NFL. His only flaw is really he's undersized, but to me it doesn't really show that much when I watch him. He kind of just flies around the field. So I think he has a shot to go round 2. Don't hear that much. I think he has a shot to go, or at least he should have a shot to go late 2. Matthew Butler from Tennessee. All these teams you hear recently, we're looking for a 3 technique. We're looking for a 3 technique, which is a defensive tackle that's hair outside the guard, lines up there, and obviously you're looking for a guy that can, big body guy that can get pressure on the quarterback, because there's kind of a shortage on him. And teams are looking for him. I think Matthew Butler could be that guy. I think he has a shot to go in day 2, which he's kind of been talked about more of a round 4, maybe round 3, which he'd probably go. So it's kind of that sleeper 3 technique. Very good pass rusher from an interior guy. Then Kirby Joseph, safety from Illinois. I put him up here because I actually consider him, which everybody should kind of agree with this almost, the best pure single high free. Kyle Hamilton better than Kirby Joseph, but is he going to play single high? I think he has a shot to. Maybe more of a cover 4 type safety, and you move him around a bit. But Kirby Joseph from Illinois, he's a free safety only. To me, he's got the skills, the upside. He has the length, the range, the ball skills to be a pure single high free safety. I wouldn't be totally against somebody taking him at the end of the 2nd round, which we've kind of heard like 4th. So I kind of like Kirby Joseph there as well. There's a lot of other guys that I really like. These are ones that just kind of stand out to me when it comes to rankings, my thoughts on them, where they could go, how others view them as well. So yeah, really excited to see where all these guys, everybody goes. Really, really excited for the 1st round of the NFL draft because it's going to be wild. It's always wild, but it's extra unpredictable this year. So join us for our live stream, day 1 of the NFL draft. Join us on Twitter for all the analysis, thoughts, and more for that's day 2 and 3 Twitter. We got everything going on our Twitter, so you're missing out if you're not following that. But yeah, like, subscribe, make sure you turn the notifications on so you don't miss anything here. But that's going to do it for this one. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.